Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle, for anybody out there that does not know. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I was able to grow my natural hair long and keep it healthy after I big chop. So most of you may know I big chopped a year ago and my hair was really short. Like even after, if you haven't seen my big chop video, definitely go check it out. But even after that big chop video, I ended up cutting my hair more. So it was even shorter than what it was on that video. And so here we are today, a year later, and this is my length. A lot of people were saying you're almost back to the length that you were, which is kind of true. I still got a long way to go, don't get me wrong. My hair in the back is almost bra strap length, but my hair in the front is still short. It's all about retaining length. So if you pay attention to your hair, then anybody can retain length. So it's not necessarily genetics for me, or it's not necessarily my hair grows faster. But yeah, so I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top 5 tips that I did and that you can do too. That's going to lead me into my first tip for you guys. What I did was, at first, okay, so I didn't know what to do with my hair when I turned natural. So I started wearing wigs. My number 1 tip is protective styles. I started wearing wigs mostly within the first few months because they were convenient. I didn't know what to do with my hair, so wigs were just so easy for me and I didn't have to go out the house looking crazy. I didn't do too many low manipulation hairstyles. That's probably why you guys don't see them on my channel. I have a love-hate relationship with low manipulation styles because they're great every once in a while, but to have your ends out all the time, for me, it wasn't going to help me grow my hair. I feel like you should tuck away your ends as much as possible so they're not exposed to the heat or the winters or anything like that, because they are the oldest part of your hair and they can get damaged real easy. So keeping them tucked away is a great way to retain length. And I'm gonna have to be honest with you guys, I would leave my wigs on for a long time and my hair would get so dry under my wigs. So after a while, I did start to take care of my hair under my wigs. I know it's so easy for us to just forget about our hair under them, but eventually you can't keep, leaving your hair under your wigs for a long period of time without moisturizing them, unless your hair then will start to break off and your ends will start to get dry and your hair will start to get dry from all the friction in the wigs and then your hair being dry. So it can cause a lot of breakage and shedding. But I can honestly say that my hair was able to take that because my strands were so, like when I looked at my strands, they're thick and they're healthy. Unlike when I was relaxed, they were dry and brittle. So me keeping my hair under my wigs for a long period of time, my hair could stand it. So my number 2 tip is keep your scalp clean. This is so important because when your scalp gets dry, the dry areas, your hair can start to break off or shed in those areas, and then your hair can start to thin. You don't want your hair to thin because then your hair won't look right. It will look like your hair is damaged. So it's very important to keep products off of your scalp as much as possible. For me, I wash my hair once a week. And I have to honestly say, after I first big chop, I was neglecting doing that, and my scalp would get inflamed and it would get dry, and I would have to scratch it. And I noticed that some areas in my, on my edges were thinning out. So keep your scalp clean. It's very important. If you do keep your scalp clean, you will notice that you don't get as much shedding, you won't get as much breakage. Because when I used to keep my hair under my wigs for a long period of time without washing my hair, then I noticed that once I did wash my hair, I would get a lot of shedding and breakage, which some shedding is normal, but breakage is not. So make sure you keep a clean scalp as often as you possibly can. Not everybody needs to wash their hair once a week. I personally do because my scalp, like I said, my scalp will get inflamed. But just do what works best for your hair and what's convenient for you. So my number 3 tip is deep conditioning. I deep condition my hair after every time I wash it. So once a week I deep condition my hair. I do have a deep conditioning video on my channel, and I have a wash day routine on my channel. Definitely go check those out. I do use a heating cap to make the process of deep conditioning go faster. I love my heating cap. Like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I don't have to deep condition for hours. I can literally just deep condition for 20 minutes and be done. Deep conditioning was how I ultimately was able to keep my strands thick and strong, because that moisture is getting into my hair and it would stay in my hair for a long period of time, versus if I didn't deep condition, then my hair will automatically be dry after I wash it, and that would cause my hair to be brittle and dry. And I will have to say that convenience is huge with natural hair. Like, especially if you have kids in a busy life, you want to do things that's convenient for you and that works for your hair. Because if you don't, you will get frustrated, and then you will notice that you're spending hours on your hair, which I don't do. I don't have the patience nor the time to spend hours on my hair. So convenience is real big with me. I don't like to spend hours on my hair unless I'm doing a style that's going to last me at least a few days, 3 to 4 days. So make sure you're doing things to your hair that's convenient. Unless you have the time to spend hours on your hair, that's great. But if you don't, then just make sure you're doing things that are convenient for you. So my number 4 tip is trims. I trim my hair 2 to 3 times. I've trimmed my hair 3 times since after I big chop. I do have a trimming video on my channel. So if you want to see that, then you can definitely go check that out. I'll leave it down. I'll leave all the videos that I'm mentioning down in the description box. Split ends are the worst when you're trying to grow your hair. That's probably the reason why your hair isn't growing, is because of dry split ends. People ask me like, well, how do you know if you need a trim? Just take a light, something that's bright, grab a section of hair and look at your ends. Not this thick of a section, something smaller. And then just kind of look through your ends. If you see a lot of split ends, then you probably need a trim. If you see a lot of knots and dry cricket ends, then you probably need a trim. But just because your ends are dry doesn't always necessarily mean you need a trim. It just probably means your hair is dry. See, the problem with split ends is that if you don't trim them right away, they're going to continue to split up the shaft of your hair, and then it's going to get to a point where even when you do trim, you're not trimming enough, so your hair is still going to break off. So definitely tackle split ends before they become a big problem, and then you have to do a massive cut. And that's definitely what you don't want to do. Setbacks are not fun for anybody. Another thing you can do is dust your ends. Dusting is just taking a pair of shears and looking through your ends. And if I see a split end, I'll cut it off. And then if I see a knot, I'll cut it off. So that's pretty much what dusting is. So you can do that as often as you need to. It's not something that you need to do a lot. You shouldn't have to do a lot. But that is something you can do. Like, that's something I need to do right now because I have been using heat on my hair, and I noticed that my ends are a little dry, and I've noticed I've been getting some knots and some split ends. So I'm definitely going to take some shears and cut those off. Now, another thing is, make sure that you are using good shears when you trim your ends. Last and final tip would be to limit your heat use. This is going to prevent you from having to trim your ends so often. So when you grow your hair and you're trimming it at the same time a lot, then you're not going to see the length that you grew. Heat is not bad. As long as you do it right, it's not bad for your hair. You won't do too much damage to it. So I don't mind heat. It's convenient for me to have my hair straight, extremely convenient. So that's why I like to use it. But I do like to take breaks. Like, of course you guys probably do watch the Glam Twins, but as you know, they use heat on their hair for a few months and then they take about a 6-month break, because you get that break in there and that gives your hair, you know, a chance to grow, and you don't have to trim your ends because you're not using heat on your hair and you're taking care of it. I think I'm going to probably straighten my hair one more time, and then I'm also going to take a break from using heat for a while, and I'm going to wear my wigs again because I love them so much. They has helped my hair grow so much. So now I'm just going to recap everything that I said. So the first thing was protective styles, clean scalp, deep condition, trims, and limit your heat use. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. If you guys have any questions, make sure you leave them down below, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!